All right, sorry guys. Let's get back to basics. Um, so let's look at our let's look at our calendar. Let's go through this very quickly. We're going to go through the calendar. We're going to go through the spreadsheet, preparing for that consumer confidence. So we might as well take a look at what else we have this week. So let's go to our eco calendar. Um, there's a confidence at 10 o'clock today. We're going to monitor that 8:30 just to see what the sentiment is. All right. I see these other ones here, the housing, Schillers. I definitely want to see that at 9 o'clock. So we got the 8:30 futures. See if there's some kind of optimism coming into this. See if that confidence is a part of that 8:30. Uh, then we can look at, we'll probably still be here at 9 o'clock. We'll peek our head in at 9 o'clock to see how that home buyer index is looking, the home price index is looking. And then if we are still here, I don't know if I'm going to stay all the way until 9:30, but you guys are welcome to do that. See if that 8:30, because that's the thing. If the 8:30 doesn't give us what we're looking for, we will go into the charts to see how that looks. If the 8:30 doesn't give us what we're looking for, then we don't have to worry about the 9:30. But if it does, if we see a large spike, I just want to show you guys what it looks like. That is a leading indicator. That's an alert that we might get that same sentiment at 9:30. And I want you always to recognize that. That's a little hack. Don't force it. If you don't see that spike at 8:30, don't go and say, "Oh man, I'm going to go trade the 9:30. It might still give it to me." The moment you say it might still, you are now gambling. We do not gamble. But if we can confirm that 8:30 and we know why that 8:30 is moving the way that it is, then we can go look at that 9:30 to see if we get the same thing. But we don't do it unless we have that term and confirm at 8:30. All right, so we'll check that out. We went over the economics yesterday, that there was all of these, and I'll recap what I said, is that every single economic metric branches off from the supply chain. That credit line is one causal sequence, and then that branches off into the supply chain causal sequence. And then from the supply chain causal sequence, you have all of the economic metrics that branch off. And then after they go through their sequence, they diverge going into their individual causal sequence, and then they remerge at the consumer confidence. The consumer confidence is everything all encompassing. I told you the GDP is everything all encompassing. I told you that the interest rate is everything all encompassing. So if you focus on those three things, you get an overall view of what the economy is doing: strength, weakness, growth, inflation, deflation, expansion, contraction. You'll get all of those looking at the overall health of the economy. All right, so we know we have that at 10 o'clock. I believe we have, just checking to see what else we have. We have the ADP here on Wednesday, initial job claims on Thursday, and then the unemployment rate. So that's the next thing we're going to work on. We're gonna monitor these labor. We even have the JOLTS. We even have the JOLTS at 10 o'clock today. So we'll watch the JOLTS. Well, it's really not going to be the JOLTS because it's the same time as the consumer confidence. But we can probably tomorrow check into the JOLTS metrics, and then we'll monitor that going into the ADP on tomorrow, and we'll monitor that going into the initial job claims on Thursday. And then based on that sentiment, that's another hack that we can trade that unemployment rate on Friday. All right, we do the same thing. Monitor the 8:30, and then if there's high momentum, we can trade the 9:30 as well. All right, very lucrative opportunities this week. So let's get into this. closing this out. All right, so I used the 4D model that we did this weekend to create the CCI prompt. We're going to put that in. So I believe this is the CCI lock. Yep. So let me go find. I should have a CCI in here. Confidence, yeah, confidence prompt. And we have the optimize in here. So I think I'm gonna do the where is that come on, where you at? Hmm. I was looking for that well, I guess I can just use the optimize, but there was supposed to be the deeper. Let me put in the word deep. There it is. So let's go ahead and copy this. And I'll go ahead and read it for you. It says, I am a senior macro strategist with expertise in behavioral finance, corporate decision making, and global market cycles. Your task: perform a comprehensive deep dive analysis using the Assure framework, which we already gave it the Assured, right? Well, no, we're gonna upload the Assured. Let's upload the Assured. Uh, processes. Let me double check. We have the lock framework. Is that all we have in here? All right, so yeah, so we'll do the. That doesn't make sense. I would have done the Assured first, wouldn't I? Remember when I first built this,
It's
guys? I put in the Assured, didn't I?
yeah, it is. It's the I know for me, I finally trying to follow up on my prompts through the text and all those little words. Man, that confuses the heck out of me. I have to take
Yeah,
the prompts that I am going to use and I'll put them on Word and I'll just keep that there. That way I can go back to it. I have all these Word documents, unfortunately, but I only want the ones that I'm going to utilize the most instead of having to thumb through all of that text because you're looking at this and you see all the different bold,
man.
the fonts are all different and you got colors. When you
Yeah,
go to that text and your eyes look at that, all those look like ants on a white paper. You know what I mean? And it
yeah.
just, I don't know, for me, it's when I come back to this now, I'm having to figure out where I
Um,
put all this stuff. So yeah, you got to
well, the
take
thing
that
about the thing
sometimes.
about Gemini, which I mentioned to you guys, that it will jump into a new chat. Because I remember, right, that we wanted the metrics. That's all we wanted. All we wanted was the 6 months or the 12 months. Remember, I built that prompt of the 12 months, and I said, well, let's make sure that we give it a head start. And I put in the Assured prompt. You guys remember this yesterday, right?
Are you saying that's gone?
Gone.
No,
It's
really.
giving me the lock analysis first. This is the CCI. Oh no, did I? You know what? I think I did it in here. Yeah, I think I did it in Claude. That's what it was. Yeah, there it is, the Assured, and so I did it in Claude. I found it. Boy, I thought I was going crazy.
Okay.
All right, so
These are
we
one
can
of the first ones we get the dates on. So yeah, thanks.
yeah, so I can upload the Assured here to Gemini, um, and I'll do it in Claude as well. But with Claude, I don't have to put the Assured in. So we're gonna run this with deep research. Um, and let's see what happens with that, and then I'll come over to Claude and I'll do it. I don't have to put the Assured in. I can just put the prompt. And let's see what it does with that. This is all test. This is all a test. Let's see what we get. Now from here, on Claude, I'm going to put in the framework next, or the model. I'm going to put the lock model in next, and then I'll put in the rhetorical. We'll go over this a little bit deeper after 8:30. All right, so I want to get ChatGPT as well. Let's go. Yeah, see, for me, I don't have the paid version, so I can't pin in ChatGPT. I can't pin in DeepSeek. So I like both of these. But if you guys notice that I don't really use the ChatGPT, only because I can't pin my my dialogues. That's the only reason why I don't use ChatGPT, and I lean more towards Claude and Gemini.
You got the option to do projects though. You may need to organize them there. So,
Oh, that's so true.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's probably the way to do it. So let's do CCI lock. I think that is the workaround. Yeah, there we go. So let's bring this current as well. Let's bring in the assured. And let's go get well, I guess we can put in that prompt, huh? Let's put in that prompt and let's update them. Let's update ChatGPT. So that's good. We have the Gemini, the Claude, and the ChatGPT. We'll compare the reports and see which one's giving us the best idea. And then once we have this, we're going to put in the rhetorical to get the probability. And I want to reiterate to you guys, each one of these can be a different day. So you want to put in the assured with the 4D prompt. Maybe do that on day 7. Then on day 5, put in the lock model. Then on day 3 or day 1, put in the rhetorical. So space it out. You don't have to do it all at once. And as we specified yesterday, you definitely do not want to do the rhetorical early. You want to get all of the data in, all of the news, all of the expectation, all of the echoes. You want to get all of that in. And then run the rhetorical at the very end. I would also run the echo. There is the echo process. I would run the echo process in another AI. I'm giving you the suggestion. You already have the assured. It's fine-tuned for the assured because it's dealing directly with the consumer confidence. Notice that the echo is more so to kind of sift through the news. So if you are going to use the echo, and I'm advising you that you should use the echo process in another AI to kind of figure out how that works. And then you can bring that in, the results of that, you can bring that in, copy and paste that into the lock to get a read. And I would do it probably after you do the lock, because inside the lock, it talks about the sentiment. So I would either do the echo before or after. So let me run through real quick. I would put in the assured or whatever the process is for the economic event. I would put that into your actual platform that you're using, that you're going to build your project in. And then I would go run the echo in another AI. And then right after I'm done with that economic process, the acronym, take the results of the echo, copy that out, and bring that into your project. So you can either put it between the acronym and the lock, or you can put it between the lock and the rhetorical. Does that make sense, or do I have to repeat it?
Yeah, that
I
makes sense.
wouldn't.
Say again. Anybody need me to repeat it?
I kind of want. I
Yeah,
Okay,
kind
no
of want
well,
to
problem.
hear
yeah,
you.
That's why I
yeah.
asked.
One more time.
So you're gonna have two different AIs. You're gonna have your main AI, like your Gemini, your Claude, your ChatGPT. You can do projects in your proximity, whatever that allows you to do a project. Whether you're doing the project all in one AI or you have this project manager with Agentic, doesn't matter. You're gonna choose your main platform that you can do all of your main processing on. You're gonna upload your acronym prompt, and I told you I gave you 10 of them for all of the different economic events. So you're going to pull that out of that workbook, put that into the AI. We showed you this weekend how to do the 4D model to get the prompt. Put that prompt in with the acronym, get your results, and then pause. Go to another AI, go get your Echo process acronym, put that in another AI to find out the sentiment, find out the echoes of the market. And the reason why I'm telling you, once you get that output, copy the output and bring it into your project. And you can either put it before the lock or after the lock. Why? Because the lock is going to go over the sentiment. It's built into it. It's going to go out and look at the news. It's going to give it a grading system, an A, B, C grading system for the sentiment. So bringing in the echo before it or after it will fine tune that section of the lock. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It feels like it's so cheap.
Yeah,
It feels good.
makes sense.
So now the AI is going to, now if you do it before, the AI is going to bring it, it's going to reference the echo as it's building. And if you see that it doesn't, because remember, sometimes the AI doesn't remember all of its assignments. And once again, that's probably you with building of the prompt correctly. But still, we have seen that the AI will diverge from its tasks. So even if it spits out the lock and it doesn't mention the echo, that's the reason why you might find it better to put the echo in afterwards. And then the prompt will be go to that section of sentiment and then pair it with the echo process and then give me a better read on the sentiment of the markets. Does that make sense? So play with it before and after to see which one you get the best results. All right. And then after that, you put in the rhetorical, and the rhetorical has the pathos, right? So when you put in the rhetorical, it should also mention the echo. And even in your prompt, you may want to say, bring in the echo into the pathos of the rhetorical. Does that make sense?
Say that again for the you said bring the echo into the, and that's when you do the rhetorical triangle. So
You got it.
you're putting the echo into the pathos.
Well, no,
Is what you
you're
said?
putting it in. You're putting it in between the lock and the rhetorical. But to make sure that the AI is referencing the echo process, you may have to put it in your prompt. Because and you got to tell it exactly where you want it to insert it. You want to insert it into the pathos because you have the ethos, the pathos, and the logos. The pathos is the emotion.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
So when it spits out that pathos section, you wanted to mention something about echoes.
Okay. Got it.
And if it doesn't do it naturally, the next time just make sure you incorporate it into the prompt. That give me a more and you can even probably even put the word probability. Give me a more precise read on sentiment by incorporating the echoes analysis into the pathos. That you can put something like that in the prompt of the rhetorical. And if we keep doing this, guys, and we keep trying different ways on where to insert certain different things, it's all about getting the process right. What's the order? What's the proper order that we put everything in? What's the proper prompt that we ask AI? And I'm telling you, I'm always going to reiterate what the final goal is. We want to come up with that final report that's giving nothing but high accuracy and high probability. High accuracy with the causal sequence, high accuracy with the sentiment of the markets, and a high probability on the momentum being so high that it gives us a perfect trade. The sentiment is more so for traps, and even traps are built into the model because that's something that I put in the prompt for the rhetorical. Give me let's look at it. Let's look at the rhetorical, and you'll see. I asked for 4 probabilities. So let me go ahead and put that in. We did the assured here. Let's go ahead and put in we got a little bit of time. We're gonna run through real quick and get to the rhetorical, and I can show you what it looks like. So first off, we got 3 AIs. We're gonna do it. Let's start with Gemini. And I see Gemini does this. If I click off of Gemini, I want to give you guys this heads up. If I click off of Gemini and starts working with other AIs, Gemini is the only one that will not finish. They will hang. Gemini wants you to sit there and wait for it. You guys understand this?
No,
Yeah.
I never ran 2 AIs at the same time. So
I run it
really
all the
interesting.
time. And notice, Claude finished, ChatGPT finished, but Gemini, I have noticed
Gemini
they will
take the
hang.
longest. They take the longest.
It's not taking the longest because you clicked off, and went to another browser and doing other work. It won't finish it. So I usually have to stop it. I usually have to cancel it and then rerun it. And yes, you got to put it all in again. Because I try to hit the go button again, it won't do it. So this is the assured. Let's put the prompt back in. Deep research. I'm going to take deep research off because I don't have time for it. See, it's going to try to go into a new chat. Can't do that. Got to do the deep research. So let's run that again. And let's go ahead and populate these. So the next one here is the actual lock model. Where's my lock? Huh. I don't know where I did with it. Okay, yeah, this should be in here. This should be in. Well, no, this is the actual framework. I'm doing it right. All right, so we load in this, and then we load in the prompt. Give me a second. Let me get the prompt. I want that default prompt. I know that's in my. There we go. Here it is. Default. And we'll run this. And I'm going to go over to ChatGPT and do the same thing. Nope. That wasn't it. Oh, wait. I don't have any more uploads on ChatGPT, so no problem. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to just copy the whole thing. I'm going to copy the whole framework. Framework. See, I don't have Word on my computer, so I'm going to have to use this. I'll hit this, and then we'll put in the prompts. Put down. Put down. All right, so this is not the right prompt. Give me a second. All right, let's run that. Let's look at our Gemini. All right, so we got this. Now we're still building. I'm gonna put in the rhetorical next. I gotta watch this Gemini, man. But I've experienced that a lot with Gemini. That if I click off, it won't finish. Now, if I keep it on here, it'll finish. But you got to understand that I'm working with my entire team. And when I was doing paralegal work, when I'm doing different things, I have seen Gemini just now. It only does it on the deep research. If the deep research is not on, it'll give it out. But I noticed that if I'm using deep research and I click off of that tab, you got a 50-50 chance it's not going to finish.
Yes, I second that.
So we'll leave it on here to give it a chance. All right, did we finish here? Still building. All right, so DeepSeek is good. So now we're going to put in the rhetorical. And I'm about to put this in manually as well. Let's go get the rhetorical. And I know there's something I'm supposed to change in here. I can't remember what it was. Well, let me show you this. Remember I said that I look for different probabilities. I'll show you right here in the prompt. I'm looking for a high probability lock. Stop it. Find high probability lock outcomes. Find high probability bullish sentiment. See what I mean about the sentiment when in the pathos? Find high probability strong. Oh, let me just run it. Keeps kicking up. I'll show you at the end. I don't think Gemini is going to deliver. So we'll focus on Claude and ChatGPT.
And this is a free version of Gemini?
Yes. And that might be another reason why they're doing it. The response paused because Claude reached its max length for a message. Hit continue to nudge. These are all little tactics to get you to pay for the. And keep in mind, guys, I have the paid. I'm still within my 30-day $20 that I paid, and they still paused. Yeah, Gemini's not going to come through. It's still hanging. So I tell you what I'm going to do over here is I'm going to stop it. I'm going to take off the deep research and go into a new chat, which I don't want to do.
Sometimes what I do is I just actually refresh the page.
I'll try that next time.
Okay.
Thank you for that suggestion.
Yeah.
Well, see that this won't work because it's not pulling from the other information. So no, this won't work. So I'm leaving Gemini alone because it's not referencing the other stuff that we already put in. So I'll leave that where it is. All right, still building. And I just want to show you all the probabilities that we have. We'll go over this, guys. Just be patient. We're building everything now. We'll go over everything, after we check on the announcement. I want to check on that momentum, and then we'll come back and kind of dive into this. 78% probability. No false leaks, no manipulation. So notice all of the probabilities. First one is high confidence. I told it to look for manipulation and traps. It's saying a low 10%. Probability of institutional, here's the traps here. The squeeze, about 25%. Probability of large trader reaction, momentum, about 75 to 85%. So I have that whole section where it's given. So now let me show you in the prompt. Here we go. High probability lock outcome. So that's our causal sequence. High probability bullish sentiment. High probability momentum. Probability of manipulation. Probability of traps. And probability of trader reaction. So like I said, that's the final goal. Putting all that information in, pulling from different pieces, adding different pieces. We want to get a final report on how the chances of getting the perfect trade. Putting our trade in, it goes directly to our exit, and we make our money. We don't want anything less. Here it is. I like the outcome. It says, I judge it mostly high, 78%, that today's Fed communication, and this is what I mean, guys. There is no Fed communication. Is there Fed communication? No. It's going out and trying to say that there's a Fed communication today when we're talking about consumer confidence. Got to be real careful.
Unless it's talking about some of the Fed presidents, do you think it's talking about the whole
let's go back to the calendar
and referencing just the chair? Mm-hmm.
Well, let's go back to and see if there are any. Well, yeah, there's a Fed speech at 6 a.m. There's a Dallas at 10:30. And then there's another one at 1:30. Maybe they're talking about those. And then there's even another one at 7 p.m. So there's 4 for the whole day. But that still should not factor in because the consumer confidence comes out before those Fed announcements. So it still shouldn't be in the report. Because this 6 a.m. is way too early. And there's nothing going on around that confidence report. Everything is happening after. The 3 Fed announcements are after the consumer confidence. So even with that, it should not be in here. But it just kind of shows you that if you give it too much to do, it will lose focus. Because all I did was talk about CPI. Everything was labeled CPI. The assurance was consumer spending. Everything I talked about was consumer spending, CPI. I'm sorry, CCI. Everything I talked about was confidence. So this should not be in here. See, it's still not giving me the full thing. I gotta hit continue again with Claude. So we having a bunch of AI fails today.
No, it's
Gemini
good
won't.
to see this because we got to be extra focused with our research.
You got
really,
it.
really focused.
But it also shows you that you can't wait to the last minute. Like, right? If this didn't perform well today and you have your 7 days, this shouldn't be a problem. You're gonna run into this. Sometimes the AI not gonna work right. But like I said, this we're having the problem because I'm doing it all last minute. But like I said, if it doesn't work today, come back tomorrow. Or maybe do Gemini one day, do Claude another day, do ChatGPT another day. Like I said, it's all about splitting it up. But I'm trying to work so much at one time that it's just not working right. And then, like I said, these are all also the free versions. So you also have to figure that part out when you choose your AI platforms. But that's the reason why I like doing it on the fly. I don't like doing it beforehand and give you guys a perfect scenario. I want you guys to see the problems that's going to come up. And this does not reflect on this model not working properly, because if you're using the entire 7 days, that eliminates this problem. The only reason why we're having this problem is we're doing it at the last minute, right before the bell. All right, so let's go out and look at the sentiment. You can see a nice jump. Let's confirm. I think I saw a nice jump at 8:30. Let's see. Oh yeah. 8:30 was, well, it jumped before. It's jumping around 8:15. I love that. And that's something that you can trade at 9:30. Because even at 8:30 right here, and let me go out to 5 minutes, because that's what's really going to show it to us. Yeah, you see that spike at 8:30? Well, that's 8 o'clock. 8:30 would be right here. So we're going to continue to watch this. I'll leave this up, and we'll see how this progresses. And like I said, you usually want to go about 10 minutes. We're almost at that. We're going into the 8:40. So we'll see how much momentum we get over the 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll kind of gauge that to see if that gives us something at 9:30.